Network Entertainment.
Who's ready for story time?
What's going on? This is Xavier Woods, aka Austin Creed.
Let me talk to him.
Hello, WWE Universe in the Philippines. This is Charlotte.
Hey everyone, this is Jeff Cobb.
I have to finish the story.
We are pretty deadly. Yes, boy. Yes, boy.
Run!
Bang! The sniper is shooting you down. This is TMDK's Robbie Eagles.
Hey, this is the Cosmic Cactus, Paul London.
Hello, my name is Ilya Dragunov, the Czar, the NXT champion, and you're listening to...
And you're listening to...
And you're listening...
And you are listening...
And you're listening
to the Wrestling Podcast.
The Wrestling Podcast.
The Wrestling Podcast.
The Wrestling Podcast.
To the Wrestling Podcast. Yeah.
Listening to the longest running weekly episodic Filipino wrestling podcast. This is the Wrestling Podcast. Stan C, Romoran, and Emile Nate checking in to give you our thoughts on Michael Cole throwing a stray or firing a stray at Jokoy on Monday Night Raw. No, we're kidding.
That was funny.
Sobrang random.
Pero hindi siya malala. It's just, it's just a stray.
A stray for a stray's sake. Pero wala ng mga Pinoy. Hindi naman siya kinuyog. Di ba ng mga Pinoy? You know why hindi siya kinuyog ng mga Pinoy? Kasi di napanood ng mga Pinoy sa Blast TV.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, let's talk about NXT, which you can also find on Blast TV. Ito na, mga Oba feminists, mag-ingay na po.
Yeah.
Oba Femi, your new NXT North American champion. So he cashed in his breakout tournament contract like a Money in the Bank shot, kind of like what Carmelo Hayes did when he became North American champion, and he capitalized on Dragon Lee, who had already defended his championship just minutes prior, and then he easily disposed of Dragon Lee and took the championship. So parang 6 months pa lang atang wrestler to si Oba Femi, and I guess everybody in NXT is already high on him, kaya he's already in a spot.
He's amazing for the time that he started training 6 months ago. And wow, like he's so good at this stage of his wrestling career. And I was doing research about him, and I found out now he was a track and field athlete. That's why he moves so quick.
Akala ko football player.
No, it's actually a track. Track yung ano niya.
He's a track athlete at that size?
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah, I know.
Wait, he's 22?
God damn.
He's only,
must be something in the water in Nigeria.
But that's why I was so shocked that he moves so quick for his size. Yung pala, track athlete pala siya, no. And this is the they're pushing him, and I feel like this is the right step in direction for Oba, kasi he has the potential, eh. Like he's still raw in ring wise, but everything else, he got the size, he's got the quickness, he can cut a decent promo at this point. So I'm glad that they actually did this and pulled it off in such a way that like it shocked the crowd, it shocked the viewers at home. And kasalanan to ni Lexus King. He triggered the guy in a backstage interview. So I'm glad that he is the champion now. And it really makes it made Dragon Lee look really like a transitional champion, because he won the title for a while because Wesley was injured, and now I don't know, he was able to pass the title to Oba, and let Oba cook here for the North American Championship.
I really like the NIL track, the NIL approach na ginagawa ng WWE. A lot of people won't like that take kasi a lot of fans still think that you got to be a wrestler to be in wrestling, to be in the major leagues. But these are legit athletes. They're not just anyone. They're not just any geek that you pick up off the street. May background naman sila of athleticism, and it's not the same, but you got the best coaches in the performance center, and you can easily use those to mold yourself into a decent pro wrestler. I'm not saying he's the best. I can still see they have scripted Oba Femi to accentuate yung strength, whatever strengths he had, his power, his athleticism, to work quick matches, diba? Obviously, he needs marami pa siyang kakainin bigas to be a really experienced pro wrestler, but he's got it. I mean, I feel like he's a better moving Batista or something like that. He has some of the Brock Lesnar athleticism. I don't know how much yet because we haven't seen him in a long match, but I really like this.
Shooting star press.
Oh, I enjoy this so much, and I feel like it's a great track to find stars outside of yung mga independent wrestlers. So congrats to Oba Femi. I don't know how long this is going to be yung championship reign niya, but I feel like it's going to be decently long because how do you beat a guy that size?
Yeah. A couple of things. So first off, ano pala siya, he's been training since 2020 or 2021. So hindi naman siya parang 6 months lang bilang boom.
Oh, you don't get put on, on weekly television if you don't have that experience in training.
Yeah. But imagine that he was 19 or 20 when he started, and then now he's 22 and he's already this athletic, this good, this smooth as a big guy. So very very promising tong si Oba Femi. As for Dragon Lee, I guess losing the championship to Oba Femi frees him up to go back to SmackDown now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, he was just, I think, a transitional champion now because Wesley was hurt. And, put the, again, pangpadagdag na siguro ng credentials, they put the title on Dragon Lee, so that they can have a credible champion for Oba to beat once, and they actually went with that.
Yeah. All right, more NXT stuff with the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, which kicked off this week. So we already have the bracket. And if you watched NXT yesterday, you would know na Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin have advanced. And so have, I believe this is Axiom and Nathan Fraser.
Axiom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those teams have advanced. Itong other side of the bracket, yung matches nila will be next week on NXT. So let's do a quick bracketology here. Who do you think is winning it all?
Braun and Baron.
Yeah.
So I think Braun and Baron and Melo and Trick are wrestling in the finals. Tapos the breakup between Melo and Trick will happen in that match or after that match.
Yeah, same thing. If you have been familiar with the way the Dusty Classic works, it's usually the oddball tag team that wins the whole thing. So I'm going with Braun and Baron. Let's also agree that will be the finals. Melo and Trick going up against Corbin and Breaker, and then the breakup is gonna happen. So it's kind of the same as the DIY thing from 2019. So.
Now that you mention it, nga, yung history ng Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, halos puro mga single stars na nag-team up, sila laging nananalo, which is weird for a tag team tournament. Like, I can only think of the Creed brothers and I believe the Undisputed Era.
Yeah.
Sila lang talaga yung true tag teams who've won the Tag Team Classic. And even the Undisputed Era, they shuffled their lineups kasi na-injure si Bobby Fish, diba? It was supposed to be Red Dragon, and then Adam Cole had to step in kasi Bobby Fish got injured. Ayun, AOP. Tama si Glendale. So
2016, I think. That's when they won. So.
Right? So, okay, let's talk about Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin since they're the team that you guys feel will win. What do you think about this pairing? Kasi the way that they've come together, medyo may pagka-babyface. Diba? Na parang ganun, an odd couple, and then you have one douchebag trying to get another douchebag to agree na, we work well together. We don't have to be friends. We just have to go out and dominate and kick ass.
Yeah, Braun is face again. I need him in face, but he's over again. People just wanted to see him kick ass, and then he was doing that as a face champion, but people got bored of it because he was kind of getting corny, and then ngayong badass na siya ulit, he's getting cheers. He's getting chants, and people are popping for his every move. It's kind of like the Goldberg effect, and I think by the end of this, baka face na sila completely.
Imagine Baron Corbin being a face in 2024.
I mean, it's time. He's been a heel for so long already. So yeah, I actually like this team up and their match. Nung NXT, technically they were the babyface because they were working against Gallus, and people were really behind them. They were popping. They popped for that finish, and people were really behind them. So I can see them being a babyface by the end of this, and probably this is gonna be Braun's like final program that he was gonna work on in NXT before going up.
We keep saying that about every Braun Breaker
Okay.
feud since he dropped the championship. And yet, nandito pa rin siya sa NXT. So, at some point, we're gonna get it.
Yeah.
Manalig lang tayo, Emile. One day, tatama natin yan.
Plus I think he already did the heel thing. So parang ano pa gagawin niya sa NXT? Like, is there anything for him to still do down there? So I think after this, he's like gonna move up na.
Re-reveal niya siya pala si NXT Anonymous. Last thing here about Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin. Na-appreciate ko yung pagka-acknowledge ng commentary and even Baron Corbin himself in a backstage segment na he was in the finals of the very first one and that he partnered with another guy who had perfected the spear, that being Rhino. So, great way to acknowledging history niya with the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. So, something I liked from the storytelling. All right, let's switch gears and talk about AEW Dynamite, which happened earlier. So they called it AEW Dynamite Homecoming kasi nasa Daily's Place sila, yung home base where a lot of the pandemic era AEW aired. So we're going to start with Swerve Strickland calling his shot and getting in Samoa Joe's face. Actually, marami sila, diba? From Swerve to Hangman to Hook, which we talked about earlier. Ito na, the Swerve Strickland title pursuit has officially begun here.
Yeah, it's about time. I'm glad it acknowledged that, okay, Swerve is hot, so we have to keep him in the orbit of Samoa Joe. I don't know if they're leaning toward a 4-way as well, because I know, so probably just triple threat, a 3-way, because Hook is getting his championship match next week. But I like that it's now involving Samoa Joe, because we've already seen Swerve versus Hangman so many times in 2023, and this one feels fresh. Samoa Joe feels fresh as a champion, and I feel like for once, diba? Hindi naman for once, pero to start 2024, TK is paying attention to the fans who really want Swerve to get over. I mean, to be at the top. But I guess this was also the plan, because Swerve and Hangman's feud. Swerve said he wanted Hangman's spot. So I think the pieces are falling into place. Swerve played his role, and then now he's over as fuck. And I think it's about to happen. If not, I mean, sooner or later, maybe sooner.
Yeah, same thoughts here. I'm glad that they're finally going there. With the Swerve going after the world title after a year of building himself back up. And this is the reward for him finally getting over and him breaking out as the main event star. And I also like na hindi pa sila tapos ni Hangman. Like Hangman came back and he said he's gonna still go after Swerve. Like their feud is not yet over. And I like na it's now being incorporated into the world title. Kasi this feud deserves at least the world title. And with Joe being involved, I'm looking forward to how are they gonna play this.
Gusto ko rin yung sinabi ni Joe na now that he's champion, he's changing how things are done, particularly with people declaring that sila yung challengers niya. Like, there's now a championship committee, tas dadaan daw sa kanya. You can't just step up and declare yourself to be the number one contender. And then if you really want it, and then I will gladly beat you up in front of all of your friends and fans and whomever. So, strong message for Joe. Way to kick off his world championship run. I appreciated that promo.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, now we're going to close things out here with the Young Bucks and their new look as they closed out Dynamite earlier. So, napaka-sus nung itsura nila, and they came out and they stared down Sting and Darby and Ric Flair and Tony Schiavone in the ring. And prior to them coming out, yung pinag-uusapan ni na Tony Schiavone there in that in-ring segment was, sino ba yung magiging kalaban ni Sting in his final match on March 3 at Revolution. So, this leads me to believe, at least, na it's probably going to be the Young Bucks versus Sting and Darby, which is counter to yung sinabi natin last year, di ba na, it's probably going to be Sting versus Darby.
I don't mind it. I don't know who I mean, which big name, diba? Like, are you gonna dig up? You can't dig up someone from Stakes Fast. They're all old, diba? I don't know if the Young Bucks are the team for this. It's weird because obviously Sting can't do a singles match nowadays, but it's not in him. So it makes sense in a tag match, like Ric Flair's last match. I just don't know if there is chemistry here. I don't know if the Young Bucks are the guys who should benefit from this, diba? There's time to build a story. We've got like 1.5 months for this, diba? Maybe they'll prove why this was a choice, but I'm not seeing it just yet. Kudos to the Young Bucks for changing up their look, though. I don't know if that means that they'll be changing up their style, but di lang talaga ako sure.
Yeah, same thing here. Kasi they don't really have history with both Darby and Sting. So that is something. But I think they're gonna build up to it. They're gonna have this. They're gonna have a month and a half to tell a story and hook us into this match. But again, if they're going the tag team route, there's it's none bigger than the Young Bucks and the AEW when it comes to tag team wrestling. So I'm definitely okay with this. Looking forward to how they build up to this. I mean, but you know, they gotta stop putting Sting in matches. You know, you saw what he did earlier, diba? Like he jumped from the platform and hit took that bump. So they gotta rest Sting first before his final match. You know, they have to let him be healthy enough to actually have a very great, very decent or great performance in his final match come Revolution.
So you're saying na, sige, let's rest Sting up. Pero what about the other destinations of AEW leading up to March 3? Na parang, how come Sting doesn't get to have a final match in Peoria, Illinois or wherever?
Oh, yeah, that's that's basically the premise of this farewell tour, diba? So I don't know. At least not have him have street fights or those matches that is heavy on him. Like, have matches that will make people happy, but at the same time, let Stinger have at least, let him have easy matches for him to go through it. Para at least pagdating ng Revolution, he's fresh for his final match, diba?
Mm-hmm. So there, that pretty much brings us to the end of this week's live stream. Like Rose said on last week's live stream, we're trying to switch things up here and try to keep things a little bit more concise for everybody. So it's an ongoing experiment. Let us know if you like this current format or if you want to bring things back to how we did it pre-2024. As always, you know where to find us. It is at Wrestling2XPod on Twitter and on TikTok. In the meantime, let's get to some plugs. Emile, may plugs ka ba?
Wala naman, just me and Rowan actually wrote a review. Medyo late na, no? But we wrote a review. We post.
Kaninong kasalanan yun?
It's on us. So sorry, apologies for that. But yeah, me and Rowan wrote our review of MWF Noche Buena. We posted it just this last week. So if you want to know our thoughts about the show, you could subscribe to our Patreon, or you can just go to Patreon and it's there. Yeah.
Ikaw, Ro.
Wala naman. I mean, just follow MWF. Walang new content on the television front just yet because we're on season break here. But follow nyo na rin, diba? Support when you can. If you want to sponsor DexCon, our event in March, please do. If you got some extra money lying around, you want to help make the local scene better. I'm booked on that show. Masa Takanashi and Chris Brooks is booked on that show. It's more foreign visitors here, and that's always gonna bring up the quality of our wrestling here. So we're looking for sponsors, we're looking for booth vendors. So if you want to help out in some manner, some form, please do consider it.
Yeah. Ano ulit yung details ng DexCon show?
It's gonna be on March 24. That's the main show. And then may meet and greet media event on the 23rd. That's a Saturday at Unbox Green Hills. So wala pang tickets, wala pang ticketing details, but do stay tuned. Follow DexCon on Facebook and on Instagram, and I guess we'll find out more details as we get closer to March.
All right. So congrats again to Ro for making his in-ring return in a couple of months. And thank you, Dexcon, for getting him to come out of retirement.
Thank you, SJM, for requesting.
As for me, nothing really outside of what we normally do. But if you do catch me at the PBA games, kind of like God Killer David Ravena last Friday, go say hi. I will try to go up to your seat kasi nakakaakit naman ako sa mga seats. So go catch me at the PBA games. We're cooking up something new that I can't announce yet. But once we do, it'll be all over socials and I'll talk about it here on the podcast. Thanks again to Babyface producer Jasper for being at the controls and for all of the work that he and the other Babyface producers at the Pod Network do behind the scenes. And thank you to every subscriber, viewer, and listener of the Wrestling Podcast for continuing to support the show and including us in your wrestling diet. You can follow us individually at EML_Meister, at Roiswar, at Chino Supersized, at Monday Night Rowan, and at _Stan C. And on behalf of Ro Moran and Emile Nate, my name is Stan C, saying this is another episode of the Wrestling Podcast in the books. Stay safe, stay healthy, and don't be a dick. Wrestling Podcast. Out. Later, weirdos.
Peace.
The opinions of podcast creators, hosts, and guests are not necessarily reflective of the official stance of the Pod Network Entertainment, its hosts, or other network programs. The content created by the people behind the podcast is personal and not meant to harm any religion, ethnicity, group, organization, company, or individual.